and social organizations. So it is a confederation of all the Muslim organizations.
Oh, okay, from those organizations, what are the services you guys provide or assistance that you give?
Well, our objective is basically to serve the American Muslim community, as well as be a voice for the American Muslims in Chicago.
And explain that. What do you mean by be the voice of the Muslims in Chicago?
One voice. So we want to be able to represent the Chicago Muslims, and because we get together with all the our members every other month in our House of Representatives meeting. So so everyone is on the same page. We're trying to get a consensus of what our issues are and what we want to address. And predominantly, it's always been, okay, we need to work with outside of the outside of the Muslim community as well as within. So our purpose is a dual purpose.
Right.
It's working with building a relationship and working outside of our community, working with the law enforcement agencies like FBI
and when you say working with them, what type of work exactly?
Building relationships.
Okay. I mean, what are some of the activities you've done with them to build relationships?
Whenever there's we always have press conferences addressing immediate issues. When there's brutality or some unfortunate mishap that happens, murders or whatever, we try to make sure that there's justice, there's adequate.
What about issues of profiling Muslims for searches and stops like that? Do you help them in those areas also?
Yes, we do. I mean, our chairman, Dr. Malik Mujahid, meets with the FBI, and he wants to make sure that we have a relationship. If there's an issue in Chicago surrounding the Chicago Muslims, they come to us first. They go through us, and we're out there trying to protect the community as a whole outside of the Muslim community.
Right. And let me ask you, there's another very important issue, and that's about voting. That's about voting, because unfortunately Muslims have always been a bit apathetic about voting.
Right.
And that's in their own area, their own city, their own town, and their own neighborhood. And even today it's taken on a greater significance because the politicians and the policies of this country affect the whole world.
Yes.
So can you talk a bit about your efforts to encourage and register Muslims to vote and actually helping them to turn out to vote?
Yep. One of our major campaigns this year is getting more Chicago Muslims out to vote and get them registered, and because there are a lot of Muslims out there who are not even registered to vote. So during the convention, we do have a campaign where we would register anyone, even if they're out of state, using the special forms. So basically, we want to empower the American Muslims, and we want to be able to have a voice in the political process.
What do you say to the Muslims when they say to you, "Why should I vote?"
Because that's the only way we can make a difference, is through our votes. And we have to be there. We have to, alhamdulillah, we have a huge number of American Muslims, and we can make a difference.
But what they say to you, I'm Muslim and we don't care anything about this government. I mean, how do you...
But the policies that they're implementing does affect us.
Right.
And the only way to counter that is to be able to vote for the right person who does stand up for justice, who will be open and unbiased.
Right. And in your activism, have you had any issues related to Muslim women in their dress in the workplace?